Hey guys, Eric here. Forgive me for any bad audio. I think it should be okay. I wanted to go over, and I'm going to share my screen and give you some thoughts on a few things that are sticking out for me right now in the markets, on the gold side, on the gold miners, also in just commodities in general. And then I want to talk a little bit too about vanadium, which, I've got, somebody who works with me who's been doing a deep dive. I've been doing my research, and this is a very, very interesting metal. I mean, it's amazing. And why don't I just touch on that first? I'll do the screen share. Here's an article that was found recently. This just came out. This is just another. Unbelievable application, which was showing that vanadium dioxide glass has a brain-like memory. It remembers information when it's stored. It's akin to biological memory. Digital computer memory can only hold one value, 0 or 1, and that value is unstably preserved by transient electrons. A new glass memory can hold a wide variety of states for long periods of time, more like biological memory. The memory appears to be locked in the structure of the glass. This is crazy. And this is a very interesting, this is a paper, an experiment that was done on this versus the crystal versus glass and structural memory that vanadium VO2 shows. It's really, the applications here are endless. They're endless for technology, computers, doors, windows. I mean, everything you could imagine. This is very big. This is just another one of these miraculous drivers, potentially, of V2O5, okay? We also already know that the bulk of the demand for vanadium is coming from stainless steel, which is essentially a 2% addition. It's a standard to stainless steel, makes it twice as strong. And then vanadium has a very interesting component to it, which is that it's not flammable. There's no real explosive risk like it does with a lot of different other battery metals. And, it also is amazing in the sense that, we've been talking to, and when I say we, it's Phenom Resources. I work closely with the company, fairly closely. I mean, they run the deal, but I'm obviously a massive investor, got a lot of you guys, involved in the situation. And we've got two components there, which is the gold drilling, and then the vanadium side, which is really where the core master assets lie right now. And I think this could just be so big on its own. It's actually unbelievable. I think that we are seeing, we've got vanadium prices. They've ticked up a little bit recently from 720 to 760, which is good. I don't expect a massive surge, but if we see China start to reopen, that's another thing. Everything from this Japanese company we're talking to in Tokyo, and we're seeing it with other elements. There's other experimentation going on with solid state batteries that combines lithium and vanadium. There is some testing going on with that in terms of durability. The difference is that you don't need to replace vanadium in the battery at all. You don't even need to worry about where you're going to end up dumping it, which is huge. It's not explosive. So you can go with a vanadium battery into the airport and not even have to say, yeah, we've got a lithium ion battery in my bag. Because they ask for that information because it is flammable, it can explode. Vanadium, not the case. Vanadium also, you don't need, with these redox flow batteries, and also with this company that has an application, as they say, and I'm not verifying that it's actually this information yet. It's still a little bit early, but I believe that they've seen testing that has had these results where for electric vehicles, for example, that you're going to end up getting a full charge for your car in 2 minutes, 2 to 3 times the distance on that charge. No need to ever replace the battery for 25 or 30 years, but you don't keep cars for that long, right? Because the vanadium is self-reproducing within the battery. It's just amazing. I do believe that you're going to see, and then the industrial side, we just saw, and my colleague Renee is going to end up basically sending me a summary of this stuff. I'm going to get into a separate deal with that, and I'll move on to some of the gold miners here in a second. but the state of California just apparently spent it was over $100 million commitment for industrial redox flow batteries. We're starting to see this happen, and China, there's next iteration national security issues. We've got next iteration of rocket technology uses vanadium. There's a lot here, and if you start to see the redox flow batteries become smaller and more compact and cheaper, this is the standard backup industrial or even home. I'm looking to buy some. By the time I get back to my house in Wisconsin next spring, I'm going to show you guys my vanadium batteries that are going to be on site to back up my power 100% versus a bunch of different little lithium things and solar and this and that. It's going to be backed up on vanadium redox flow batteries. The solid state batteries are a new iteration of that. The rocket technologies, there's so many different things. China and Russia basically control the market. That's a problem, you know, and we have what is just the last thoughts on this. It's the largest, highest grade vanadium primary deposit in North America. Okay, it's huge. This is back from the 2019 mineral resource that Phenom has, which is essentially, this is already going to grow by about 40%, 30%, 40%. I think it's 40%. Just from the drill holes that have already been done. There's been over 60 drill holes recently. That's going to add approximately 40% to the mineral resource. So what I want to do is just a little bit of quick math here. Even on the suppressed vanadium prices, vanadium has so much upside from here. I think it's just incredible. But we're seeing it at near lows of 5 years. Let's call it 750. We do the math, and we have 303 million indicated in the indicated category. This is a PEA stage product, by the way, staged advanced deposit and asset. And that's already been done. These are older numbers. These are going to get bumped up even further. They're also going to see, and a lot of it is already in the indicated. We're going to have measured, indicated, and inferred. I like to include them all because it's all in situ. It's there. It's in situ in the ground, means in the ground value. 303 plus 75, and then I multiplied 1.4, because you're going to see, let's use 1.3 if you want. Discounted, don't even use the upgrade if you don't want to. But that number brings us out to almost $4 billion, $3.75 billion of vanadium at surface in Nevada, okay? With a lot of upside that can be expanded, and we're working on because I think that we're going to continue to plow deep and build this asset and resource and advance it, and it's going to end up being worth over $1 billion. Right now, what do we have on the market cap of our baby? And I'm talking US dollars, okay? Let's see here. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just going to pull this bad boy up. I'm going to use the US symbol. It gives us the US fundamentals, which is a $22.5 million market cap. And, this is a valuable asset, very valuable. And so some of these things that I'm going to include some links to articles from some of you guys over the coming weeks from what we've been finding about vanadium. I believe the price is going higher along with all copper, critical batteries, anything used in lithium ion batteries, nickel, cobalt, lithium, graphite. These things are, let's look at the nickel situation, for example. At 1162, we don't need nickel to go any higher for our calls. Like, for example, Giga, it's worth 5 times the amount of the market cap right now, in my opinion. You've got beautiful long-term charts. This thing is going into the 20s or 30s, and it's going to stay there on nickel. And then you look at the LME, which is a joke anyway. This is a scam freaking exchange that's going to be obsolete because of the fraud. But look at this decline. That's just 1 year, down to less than 50,000 on the 50,000 tons on the nickel warehouse stock. The 5-year all-time lows. This thing is a straight down line. There's a shortage. There's a definite shortage of this stuff. Nickel is in, reason I like nickel is because it's a smaller market. It's in virtually every new iteration of lithium ion batteries. Okay. And then we look at even on the copper, we're starting to see really big declines in the warehouse stocks as well. So that stuff is really interesting. That brings me to MUX, which is about to break its 200-day moving average. It just did, actually. Let's see where we are now. It's right above it. And if we close above here, which I think we will, stock's going to at least $10 or $11 before we see real resistance, which is just going back pre-split to a buck before. See up here was the previous, this is the last 2 years. Okay. And this is the last 2-year chart. So we're looking at, we hit about 17 bucks. It was a $1.70, back in early 2021 with that spike. Now, so look at where we could go here, 17. That's where I see this stock, call it 16 bucks. That's my target somewhere as you go up in this area in 2023 could easily happen. 2024, by 2024 at some point, MUX is going to be at least back to 16, probably much higher. Rob McEwen paid over $21 a share for his $220 million investment. Okay, just think about that. It's at $5. Got to buy the stock and do it soon because I'm not going to be recommending it when it's at $8 or $10, most likely, because this is where you get a double, you sell half, let the rest ride indefinitely, and take your money off because it's a low risk situation, I believe, from current levels. And we've got the copper spinoff. I mean, when you look at, I'm thinking about traveling to Argentina to go see their mine there because I put a lot of money into McEwen Copper, which is spin off into its own IPO. I've done a little work on this and highlighted it to you guys. I think that the copper asset alone is worth more than well over the market cap of McEwen Mining. There's no value being given to the gold asset, which is crazy because they're growing and the operational issues are past. Phenom, here we are, beautiful situation in the sense that it's above the 50-day, but it's not gone like a lot of the rest of the stocks towards its 200-day moving average. That's what's next. Look for news on additional vanadium discoveries that happened in the last drill program, and then we'll get updates on the gold stuff. I think that the big bang on the gold is going to come from first. It's going to come from Carlin D. Dave Matheson has always said he was so excited about the makeup there. They drilled 15 holes. So we're going to see a result from another hole soon. And I think it'll be interesting and encouraging. I don't know if it's going to have high gold grades, but that's what's going to be probably the next target, along with another interesting acquisition next door that hopefully they can pull that off. That's for gold. And that has been in the works for like a year. And then so another one I like to set up is AbraPlata. This thing ended up being a huge score for us. We're up. And those of us that did a small private placement to save the company 4 years ago, we still have warrants, and we did that at 5 cents. The 10-cent warrant. It's made us a lot of money. Even right here, it's up 8.5x from there on the stock, and then you add in the additional 6.5x, so 15x. At 42 cents, it's 15x for us, and it's just getting started, I think, though, because you have one of the most attractive new mines in the world, and they keep finding a shitload of high-grade silver. Those are just some thoughts for today, folks. I think we're going to see some really beautiful action for what we've been waiting for in gold mining stocks, silver stocks. A lot of my favorites. Giga is my big one, and nickel. And this thing's a joke. It's just an absolute joke. You can buy any of these. I'm not really trying to come to premium and elite members or anybody right now. Look at this base. Your downside is so low in Giga, and they got $8 million from Mitsubishi, valued the company at 50. It's a $53 million Canadian valuation is what Mitsubishi just paid for a 15% stake to give them $8 million to do a pre-feasibility. And right now, at these price levels, 31 cents, you're talking about a 30 million. It's basically a discount of 45-50% to Mitsubishi. And I know that you look at this market cap of 30 million Canadian. I've talked to Mark Jarvis about this, and I basically said, okay, Mitsubishi stepped up first. You gave them a deal. 53 million Canadian was the valuation. Great. You're not going to give away the next piece for at least 100 million, 150 million to some other company like Ford or Toyota, are you? He said, I'm not giving away any more of this project for less than $150 million US valuation. And he's going to get it because if people are going to wake up, and that includes the car companies and anybody that uses these type of minerals and resources and metals, and they're going to wake up within the next 1 to 2 years, and they're going to panic because they don't have anything locked in for supply. They're all going to start to have to go to the mine level. And we're going to see nickel prices, copper, all this stuff. It's going to be crazy. It could get wild in the next 3 to 5 years because there's no mines that have been developed enough that are in queue or spent on exploration 20 years. And that's going to come into our favor here very, very soon. So I hope that was helpful on some levels. I'm going to cut this here, upload it, and get it out to you guys here the day before Thanksgiving. Cheers.